Hello, and welcome to the Premier Cooking Independence Day special. Today, the most classic of American breakfasts, the humble egg. As you can see, we got our classic garb on. We got the red, we got the white, we got the blue, we got the shades, we got the watch. Nothing can be more quintessentially American than this breakfast currently. So, about the eggs, we prefer farm fresh. We have our own chickens, for God's sakes. How more country American can you be? So, let's get right on into it here. Into the fridge, of course, use our farm fresh huevos, eggs, since we're American. Get those guys out, but this is no mere ordinary egg scramble. This is going to be a loaded egg. We're going to put mushrooms and spinach, just about everything that you can think, and of course, the most American of condiments, chup. Absolute quality ingredients here. First thing we're gonna do, get the old pan on the sizzle. That guy is gonna heat on up there, and we'll get to chopping. Peppers, we're gonna go first because they take the longest to cook up. Of course, the red for the blood that bleeds within our veins as Americans. Or if you're from a foreign country, you can have red peppers too. Feel free. Gonna get these seeds out because we don't want the texture of the seeds to contaminate the flavor of the eggs. But this egg is going to be a metaphor for our country being a melting pot. We're going to have all the different types of veggies and things in there. Just going to chop these guys on up. We're really going to mince them, but that's all right. And perfect. Got the pot going already. And just going to dice these guys up nice and small so that we get as much volume on the heat as we can. This is going to be good. Don't be afraid to be aggressive. You see, we're using our Texas knife. We call it such because it's the literal largest knife you can think of. It's so big that it makes a watermelon look tiny. Yet another quality American fruit. Absolutely eviscerating these guys right here. And that is what I mean. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. These guys are, come on, actually we'll go through one more time here. Just to make sure that we get all the guys chopped up. Mighty fine and small. And then we'll sauce those guys on. And hear that sizzle. Hear that sizzle. Hear that? That's the sound that you want to hear. Absolutely American right there. Get those guys going. And while we do so, cop ourselves a little bit of shrooms, if you know what I'm saying. Back from the Vietnam. Yes. Regardless, mushrooms actually do add quite a nice kind of texture to your eggs if you're a fan of that, especially if you like avocado, the avocado texture. Oh, baby, it is just like that without having to spend $17.99 for an avocado from Mexico, which is not very American if you ask me. Regardless, you can chop these guys up nice and fine, reduce them to a paste almost before adding them into the fryer. And this is going to be one absolutely gorgeous egg scramble. Some of you may be wondering, is he going to be making, oh, god dang, that's hot, a bit too hot. Some of you may be wondering, is he going to be making some fancy kind of eggs like Heston Blumenthal or Gordon Ramsay or Thomas Keller or one of them? And the answer is unequivocally no. We are not doing that today. We are making an American breakfast, and this is no 15-minute double boiler kind of scrambled egg recipe. This is a living off the land, getting your breakfast ready to go for a nice hearty day of work in the fields type of breakfast. Absolutely gorgeous. And now we add in the mushrooms, reducing the heat on the shrooms just a little bit. The peppers, sure, go all out, but on the shrooms you need a little bit less heat. Just gonna spread those guys evenly out. And you can see a nice fond has actually formed on the bottom of the pan from the peppers. Some might call that burnt, but we call it fond because we know the secret. And the secret is that if you add a little bit of water, just a little, mind you, sauce that on there, mix that all up. Oh baby, now you're getting all those flavors. All those flavors. All mixed together, mind you, which is just what we want. Like we said, a melting pot cannot be melted without a little bit of water. Excellent. Look at that. Don't that just look wonderful? Make sure you're actually looking at what you're doing, especially if you're chopping something. But for the spinach, just group it up all nice and tight, and then go to town. Just like everything here, it must be simply eviscerated, like America does in war. Absolute winners. I need to cut that out. Regardless, adding on in the spinach. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Quintessentially healthy, which is not to say American, but I mean, it's going to be good for you, which is what we really want. Longevity is the key. So, getting all that nice and turn the heat up a little bit. We want to get rid of most of that liquid that we used just to get rid of the fond a little bit earlier, because we do not want watery eggs. Watery eggs are simply just a sin, if you could not tell. Perfection. Look at that. Look at that. Don't that look wonderful? And a beautiful 3-egger going on right here, courtesy of Miss Joanne the chicken out there. Rest in peace, Joanna and Jeffrey, the other 2 chickens who met their demise rather recently, most sadly. However, can now reduce the heat a little bit. You do not want your eggs to sear, so we are just going to be cracking them a little bit nicely. There's a couple different ways to crack your eggs. You could do it that way. You could do it with the one hand, which is the fancy way. Jesus. Oops. But I prefer personally, just make sure that it gets in there nice and good. Perfect. As soon as they get in there, give them around a good little whipping. Like I said, this isn't Thomas Keller type egg, so we're not using 2 different bowls and a double boiler, so mix them on up in there. Once they get all mixed, you want to just let them set. Let them set for just a good couple seconds. And at this point, you can add your desired spices. Going to be adding in some pepper. Going to skip the salt because clean up our messes, like we always do. Responsibility is a key American trait. Absolutely marvelous. At this point, mix these guys up a little bit. Turn the heat on a little bit more. The reason that you let these guys set is so that when using the non-stick pan, which is really the only way to do it, because if you use the cast iron, you will be scrubbing until another country gets their independence, which is going to take a while, because when we beat the Britons, nobody's coming back after a victory like that. Regardless, once you get them set, you can then start mixing them around, and they're not going to stick as much, which is absolutely essential. Mixing up a little bit more, just to incorporate that pepper. Scooping around the sides, as you do want them to curdle in the middle more. So this may not be the fancy egg, however, it doesn't mean that we can still not apply the tactics of keeping it moving just a little bit. And oh my goodness, this is going to be mighty fine. Now, oh my, Getting ready for a plate to plate these boys up. Paper plates. Nothing more American than an outdoor barbecue with some good old-fashioned paper plates, red Solo cup. Gotta love it. Gotta love America. Americana. The whole 9 yards. And now, we have our eggs. Don't that look wonderful? Let them go for just a little bit more. We don't want any runny eggs going on. And perfect. Kill the heat. Get ourselves a plate. Plate on it. Absolutely gorgeous. Nothing worse than the smell of burnt eggs. You get them ready and perfect, there is just nothing better. Oh, look at that steam. That is gorgeous. Nothing you could want more than that. Besides maybe like a pancake.